tall, blonde, blue-eyed.
Yeah.
That's the classic picture,
Yes,
right?
that's the stereotype.
You probably imagine this super tall person, fair-skinned, maybe gliding on a bike through Amsterdam. It's a really powerful image.
It is.
But what if we told you that walking through, say, Amsterdam or Utrecht or Groningen, well, it reveals a much more complex and honestly way more fascinating picture.
Absolutely.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into what makes people from the Netherlands look so uniquely, well, Dutch, but also incredibly diverse at the same time.
It's a fantastic topic.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, our sources are just packed with insights. We've gone through materials from researchers, scientists, historians.
The real experts.
Exactly. Peer-reviewed studies, population data, anthropological analyses. The goal here is to get past those easy stereotypes,
Right.
and really unpack all the different factors that feed into this unique national look.
Yes. We want to explore how things like genetics, environment, history, even diet have all sort of woven together over centuries to create the Dutch face you see today. So prepare yourself, because we're going to reveal some surprising facts, connect some dots.
Yeah.
It might just reshape how you think about national identity and appearance.
Should be fascinating.
Okay, so let's lay the foundation. And it starts, like so many things, with geography.
Right.
The Netherlands' position right there at the mouth of these huge European rivers, the Rhine, the Meuse, the Scheldt, that's critical, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely critical. What's fascinating here is how this geography didn't just give them fertile land. It basically made the region a massive crossroads for centuries. Millennia, even.
Just wide open.
Exactly. Flat, open landscape, lots of waterways. It was less a barrier and more like an open invitation for travelers, traders, migrants, yeah, even conquerors.
Okay.
And very early on, the Dutch became known for being, great seafarers, traders, colonizers. This outward focus meant their cities were multicultural hubs way, way before we even had a term for it.
Long before it was a buzzword.
Definitely.
And this constant flow of people, Romans, Franks, Vikings, Moors, Huguenots, and then later people from Indonesia, Suriname, Turkey, Morocco. This wasn't just people passing through, right?
Not at all. They came, they settled, they mixed. Think about Roman outposts, Frankish tribes integrating, Vikings raiding, but also settling coasts.
Right.
Huguenots fleeing persecution, then those large migrations from former colonies and more recent arrivals. This constant stream of different groups actively shaped the Dutch face.
So from a distance, maybe they look kind of unified?
But up close, incredible layers of diversity, deep historical intermingling. It really shows centuries of, open borders, sometimes voluntary, sometimes not.
Okay, now let's tackle the elephant in the room. Or maybe the giant on the bicycle.
Right.
Height. You probably know the Dutch are the tallest people on Earth. For good reason.
Statistically, yeah, it's undeniable. Research from a 2020 Dutch health survey confirms it. Men average 183.8 centimeters, that's just over 6 feet.
Oh.
And women average 170.4 centimeters, about 5'7".
Okay, but the big question, is it all genetics?
Well, that's what's interesting. Scientists point to a combo. Yes, there's a high frequency of certain height-increasing alleles in their gene pool.
Alleles being different versions of genes.
Exactly. But, and this is crucial, that genetic potential gets a huge boost from their diet. Traditionally very rich in dairy, animal protein, calcium.
So the diet lets the genes kind of reach their full potential.
Precisely. It provides the building blocks for those genes to express themselves fully. Maximum growth.
But here's the plot twist, right? Get this. They weren't always this tall.
No, not at all. Our sources show that back in the mid-1800s, they weren't particularly tall. Compared to other Europeans, I mean.
They were actually short.
Relatively speaking, yes. Among the shortest in Europe at the time. But since then, they've had this incredible growth spurt. Almost 20 centimeters added to the average height.
20 centimeters.
Largely down to massive improvements in health, sanitation, and especially nutrition over the last couple of centuries.
So it's not just inheritance, it's like they almost engineered it through better living.
That's a great way to put it. They didn't just inherit height. They achieved it, in a way, through optimizing their environment.
That is a really striking mix of factors. If they could engineer that kind of height increase through environment, does that mean other populations could do the same? Or is there something specific about Dutch genetics that helps?
That's a brilliant question. It really gets to that gene-environment interaction.
Right.
Our sources suggest it's a potent mix. The genes provide the potential,
Right.
but it's the environment that lets it happen. The Dutch seem to have had this perfect storm. Favorable genetics, meeting really optimal conditions, great nutrition, public health, low disease.
So others could grow taller with better conditions.
Absolutely. But the Dutch example shows a particularly strong synergy between their specific genes and their specific cultural and dietary habits. It's dynamic, always changing.
Okay, fascinating. Let's move from height to another really prominent feature, eye color.
Yes, the blue eyes.
The Netherlands has one of the highest proportions of blue-eyed people globally. Very distinctive.
It really is. A 2021 phenotypic survey studying observable traits confirms it. Found about 65% have blue or gray eyes.
65%.
Yeah. Then 20% green or hazel, and only about 15% brown. That's way higher than France, for example, around 35%, or the UK at 48%.
So still less than maybe Estonia or Finland.
Slightly less than the very top, but still remarkably high. And connecting this to the bigger picture, it's strongly linked to the OCA2 ARI2 gene variant.
The light-eye gene.
Basically, yeah. It became common in Northern Europe maybe 8,000 years ago.
Oh.
And it seems to have stuck around and spread among the Dutch because of founder effect.
Meaning the original population group had it?
Right. A small group establishes a population, their genes become common. And possibly sexual selection, too. Maybe lighter eyes were just preferred, consciously or not, over generations.
And you can even see differences within the Netherlands, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is fascinating. The north, places like Friesland, Groningen, you tend to see even more light eyes there.
Okay.
But head towards the Randstad, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, or the southern cities, and you start seeing more brown and hazel tones.
A clue to mixing and migration inside the country.
Exactly. It's like a living map of movement. The north might reflect a more historically stable homogeneous group, maybe stronger founder effects.
While the cities show the mixing.
Precisely. The diversity in the west and south points to centuries of internal migration, plus more recent global immigration. It shows how a national trait is really an average of lots of smaller local genetic stories, and it's always shifting.
Okay, so when you picture Dutch, blonde hair also usually pops into mind, another part of that classic stereotype. But the sources show it's more complicated than just blonde, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Geneticists looked into this, and yeah, well, about 49% of native Dutch have blonde or dark blonde hair.
Still a lot.
It is, but there's also 38% with medium to light brown hair, and 9% with red or auburn hair, quite noticeable. Only about 4% have really dark brown or black hair.
There's something about the tone, right?
Yes. Often a cool undertone, whether it's blonde, brown, or red. That's linked to specific gene variants like MC1R and TYRP1. They influence melanin and tend to favor that Northern European type of pigmentation rather than warmer tones.
And texture, does that tell a story too?
It does, yeah. Reflects those different ancestries we talked about. Data shows about 70% have straight hair, 24% wavy, and around 6% curly.
And the curly hair is more common where?
More common in urban areas and among Dutch citizens with roots in Morocco, Suriname, the Caribbean.
Okay, so yes, lots of blondes, but the range is huge. Platinum to strawberry ash, plus different textures. It definitely challenges that simple image.
It absolutely does. This detailed breakdown isn't just looks. It's a vivid picture of that genetic tapestry. The cool undertones link back to deep European roots.
While the curly hair in cities
Directly reflects more recent global migration. It shows how physical traits are often visible clues to these deeper historical and social movements. What you see on the surface is rooted in a complex story underneath. Always.
Okay, next up, skin tone. The Dutch are known for being fair-skinned, another defining characteristic.
And the sources back that up for sure.
Yeah.
A 2020 dermatological survey gave specifics, found that a huge 82% fall under Fitzpatrick skin types 1 or 2.
Meaning very fair, burn easily, don't tan much.
Exactly. Then another 16% are type 3 light olive, can tan but might burn. And only about 2% are type 4 or darker, medium to brown tones.
And that's similar to places like Sweden or Denmark.
Yeah, pretty comparable to other Northern European countries where historically sun exposure is limited. But again, like with other traits, you see more variety in the cities compared to rural areas.
Right, and this creates that interesting visual tension you mentioned earlier. The national image might still be very pale and tall.
Yeah, the stereotype persists.
But in the southern provinces, or big port cities like Rotterdam, The Hague, post-colonial history means more people with roots in Indonesia, Suriname, the Antilles.
Absolutely, leading to higher concentrations of mixed-race folks, non-European populations.
So the sort of romanticized idea meets a reality that's way more multicolored, more multifaceted. It's a real contrast.
That tension is crucial. That visible diversity, especially in those port cities that always look outwards, forces a rethink of what a Dutch face actually looks like.
It's history made visible.
Exactly. Colonial ties, subsequent immigration, weaving new threads into the national fabric right there in front of you. It challenges any static idea of who belongs. It's that old meets new theme again.
Okay, beyond color and height, what about actual facial structure? Our sources talk about typical Dutch features being like long, narrow faces, high foreheads, maybe prominent noses, strong jaws.
Angular jawlines, wide-set eyes sometimes mentioned too.
Is there data on that?
There is a 2017 study on craniofacial morphology, basically skull and face shape from the University of Amsterdam, found that the average Dutch skull does tend to be longer and narrower than the European average.
And that's linked to
Mostly linked to their strong Germanic ancestry. Seems particularly clear in the north and more rural areas, where populations might have been more stable over time.
But same question again. What about the cities? With all the mixing we've discussed.
Right. How does that affect this structure?
Does urban migration and intermarriage actually soften those features?
It seems so, yeah. Our sources confirm that in cities, you do see more softening of those angular lines. Softer jaws, maybe, wider noses, rounder face shapes appearing more often.
And that's not just recent migration?
No, it's likely a mix of recent diversity and older intercontinental ancestries blending over generations. So yeah, if a farmer from Friesland looks different from a DJ in Rotterdam whose family has roots in, say, Suriname,
It's not just style, it's genetics reflecting different histories.
our sources strongly suggest that yes, it's a visible sign of different pasts converging in the present-day population.
So if we pull all these threads together, ancestry, broadly Northwestern European, okay, but it sounds like there are threads from many, many other places woven in.
Oh, absolutely. Genetic studies paint a really detailed, vibrant picture here. Research from 2018 using genome-wide data showed this complex mix. About 58% Germanic Nordic,
Okay, the main component.
then around 16% Celtic, 9% Roman Latin, maybe 7% Iberian or Mediterranean. But here's where it gets really diverse, especially in cities. About 5% North African Middle Eastern ancestry showing up,
Wow.
and another 5% Southeast Asian or African ancestry in those metro populations. These aren't just tiny fractions. They represent real historical connections.
Trade, colonization, migration.
Exactly. Modern multiculturalism, too. It really challenges any idea of a pure Dutch genetic makeup.
And historians point to the Dutch Golden Age, right? The 17th
Hence, a
century.
really key period for this mixing, yes. Era of huge global trade, exploration.
Seafarers coming back with more than just spices.
Precisely. Returning with spouses, children from Asia, Africa, the Americas. And many of these individuals, these families, were never officially recorded in the census or royal archives.
But their genes carried on.
Their genes carried on, silently adding to this incredibly rich genetic tapestry we see today. It's like a hidden history, written in the DNA itself.
That's powerful, that 17th century influx, often invisible in the records. It just shows how interconnected people always were.
It really does. A strong counter-narrative to any idea of national isolation. It shows this integration isn't new. It's fundamental to human history. These diverse ancestries, they illustrate this constant, subtle reweaving of the Dutch genetic fabric. Truly a global lineage.
Okay, this brings us to a really tough, sometimes sensitive question, one that echoes worldwide, really. Who looks like they belong? Our sources mention a real controversy, even pain, around this in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's a significant issue. In a country that values tolerance and diversity, you still have some people clinging to that old, narrow stereotype. Tall, white, blonde.
And it hurts when someone born and raised there, but maybe with mixed heritage, gets asked.
Where are you really from? Exactly. It stings because it questions their identity, their belonging.
And this tension shows up in subtle ways.
It can, yeah. Discussions about who gets represented in media, in beauty pageants, in advertising, even DNA ancestry kits, which are scientific, can sometimes unintentionally reinforce narrow ideas if they focus too much on ancient origins over lived identity.
But the science is clear.
The science is absolutely clear. The Dutch genome is layered, complex, fluid, increasingly global. It cannot be squeezed into one single image.
Right. Our sources state it plainly. A boy with brown skin and afro curls can be Dutch. A girl with green eyes and dark features can be Dutch.
Exactly, because identity, just like appearance, isn't some fixed checklist. It evolves. It expands with time, migration, connection, experience. It's about belonging, not just looking a certain way.
This whole conversation about who looks Dutch, It's really a conversation about the soul of the nation, isn't it?
It truly is. This is where the science meets the culture. The biological reality of mixing confronts these historical, sometimes rigid ideas of Dutchness.
And the science just shows the facts of mixing.
Impartially, yes. The challenge is for society to integrate those facts into its self-image, moving beyond just visual stereotypes to a more inclusive understanding. That tension between tradition and the undeniable reality of diversity is really defining modern Holland.
So wrapping this up, what truly makes Dutch people look so distinct? It's not just one thing, is it? Not just height or blondness or fair skin.
No, it's far deeper, far more complex than any single trait. If we connect it all, what makes them unique is that very tension we've discussed.
The old and the new.
The interplay between their historical genetic roots and their long history of openness to the world. Between moments of maybe relative seclusion and centuries of global interaction, the Netherlands is a mosaic not just art and landscapes, but people, faces, past, future.
Every individual reflecting a piece of that history.
Exactly.
And that, our sources suggest, makes the Dutch look not just unique, but kind of quietly revolutionary.
Their appearance is like a living testament to human connection, to change over centuries.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Next time someone says they're Dutch, try not to just picture that tall blonde person on a bike, as iconic as that is.
Picture complexity.
Yeah.
Picture contrast. Picture centuries of movement, openness, change. What's fascinating, really, is that what makes the Dutch look distinct is everything they've absorbed, everything they've integrated, everything they've let in, genetically and culturally.
Yeah. This deep dive really shows that the face of a country is never just skin deep. It's history, its culture, its migration, its evolution, all looking right back at you. We really hope this has made you rethink what Dutch looks like, and maybe even what national identity means in our interconnected world.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah. We encourage you to share this perspective, maybe talk about it, ask someone about their own ancestry sometime, and just listen to their story. You might uncover a fascinating deep dive of your own.